Hello, welcome back. Today I will talk about a grimoire, a book of mine that I have written called Asmodeus. This is a recording part of a larger playlist where I speak about the book, about Grimoire of Asmodeus, about Asmodeus himself as he is, as he represents himself. Of course, we say, well, we are talking about the unknown or the unseen, so one has to understand the higher intellectual knowledge necessary to understand a being that is not part of our world, that there is need a certain type of language and of a mind of understanding to be able to even reach a thought of Asmodeus. No, this is representative of Asmodeus as well. If you read my book, my grimoire Asmodeus, that has the cover that you see here as well. It is written by me and it is a very beautiful grimoire, a very beautiful book. I recommend everyone my grimoires, or specific the Grimoire of Asmodeus. Of course there are other books on this thematic or on Asmodeus, but I think my book is definitely, as I've said, a very new book and has a very new perspective, very interesting point, the way I see him, the way I represented him, no? And at the same time, it's not only my own perception, but my own talent. This is not my first grimoires. I have written many others, and I quite keep the same line of thought, of description, in the meaning that it's almost like I had a great success with the first grimoire of King Payman, and I kept the same line for the others as well. Well, no, but the representation of each spirit is different. All the spirits are from the Ars Goetia of King Solomon, so that's my inspiration point. But my grimoires are unique. I represented them the way they are, the way I see them. And there are interesting elements, of course, that come to Asmodeus that I would like to continue to talk about tonight. The elements of the darkness is the most predominant or essential part of Asmodeus, to understand Asmodeus, but not any type of darkness. There is a specific type of darkness that he represents in the book, or he expresses in the book, where he talks, the way he represents himself through his own words. And these are very beautiful different metaphors of the dark element of Asmodeus. I think that's quite an interesting point, and it's the entire book is based on that representation of him talking about himself, about revealing his secrets the way he is. No, that's the interest that I had in his character. Of course, knowing before as well that he is a very powerful, very supernatural being, that he has a lot of abilities that are not from this world, that he is in another place, in another world, very far away from us, but that the power of Asmodeus is felt even in that absence, is felt even in that darkness, is felt even in that, the element of the natures that appear. He's very much connected to the element of the earth, element of the nature, that carry that force, that carry that power, that carry that dominance, that are not necessarily dark in the meaning like everything is, but that part that comes from the darkness with that terrific strength, that part that like a mountain, they say, well, it took a lot of force, a lot of magnetism, lots of power, a lot of erosion, a lot of everything, to that mountain to be created. That power, that force is very much representative for Asmodeus as well, the way he sees himself. At the same time, there are more the sensual elements of Asmodeus, like the clay of time, or the darkness, or the blackness, or something that it is like something very far away, in the same time very present. You say, well, he's absent but he's present. There is this contradictory ideas. Say, well, if one understands that, that's the power of Asmodeus, because he can bring those two in one moment. The power of Asmodeus should not even be discussed. That's the power of him. He has tremendous power, and even that is not a word that exemplify his words or his power. That's why my grimoire is so important to see, to say, well, who is Asmodeus then? How he represents himself? What powers does he hold? And there is a part of humility in his power as well. And in the description of his appearance, the way he appears on the cover, I was speaking in the other recordings in a very fine tune way to analyze him and his appearance now. So it gives us even more understanding, even more closeness to him. No, they say, well, if Asmodeus is very far away and he wishes a contact, something that is close to us, no, he speaks about that in the book as well, that we should observe him, that we should give him that honor to talk about him and represent him and speak to others about him. No, so we say, well, every step takes us further, but the question is where we want to go, no, where these steps lead to. There is element of course, very high intelligence when we speak about Asmodeus. So you say one can look at a character from very different point of view, no? So from the appearance, from the gaze, from the character, from all the details, now that we observe on him, then the things he says in the grimoire, in my book, I say, well, one gets to know Asmodeus in a very close, intimate way, no? You say there is no other way for Asmodeus. There is this strong, powerful, as I've said, it's a quality of Asmodeus that only people who know Asmodeus or worked with him or understand him or had any type of idea from him or anything, no, one can understand who Asmodeus is. There is a special quality to Asmodeus that it's very beautiful and authentic, and it's very creative and powerful, and it motivates. It is that fire, it is that engine, it is that dominion, of course, as well. At the same time, that part of humility, of representing himself in a way that makes us understand his ancient origin or his development or his strength, the way he sees. It's very touching. There are elements where Asmodeus, where he reveals things, it is very touching. At least for me, it softens my heart in a powerful, strong way. It clears my mind in something that I'm like in awe of the different play, of the different emotions, of the different words that he uses to express something so deep and so ancient or so old or so important or so beautiful. So there is a lot of richness that comes. And say all the beings of the darkness carry, all of them, such a beautiful richness, such a beautiful depth, such a beautiful magnetic power. They are masters. Asmodeus, of course, is a master. As I said in the grimoire, you're going to understand more. So what is Asmodeus master of? What is his mastery? What is his mastermind, mastership? No, there is the element of the master, and in plural form, no? So Asmodeus teaches through release and acceptance, through fear and delusion, or, there are emotions that maybe for us humans, we don't want to acknowledge them, or we don't want to think about them, or melancholy, or any type of feeling that it softens us in some way. It is part of Asmodeus' work too, to say, well, if we are able to listen to the heart, say, well, the heart has its own language. The heart needs a certain type of understanding that Asmodeus definitely carries. He is the master of will. He is the master of desire. And that part that he works on our psyche, on our spirit, to understand what that power entails, from where it comes, how it can be used, to say they are the three keys of the masters of the matter, of the time and space. Asmodeus is working on very, very high levels. And so not think darkness means it is something scary and secondhand and maybe just like whoopee, and say if you don't approach darkness the way it has to be approached, you never see the key in the darkness, because the key is dark, so you will take a step back. One has to honor what it is, that what you seek. Now Asmodeus has a way to say, my power is my strength, and I don't give it away. Say, why should I give my power? My power is my strength. It's just an example. And to say, well, if we pretend or want to see Asmodeus just because he's so powerful as this terrifying being that has the power to do this and that, and maybe some evilness to it because it comes from the darkness, it has to be evil, like zero understanding of anything that's one talks, it is not going to bring you anywhere. There is the element of the mind, of the correct mind, to say, well, the heart can only work in the correct mind, because otherwise it's like the heart means it is not listened to. No, there's the element of the heart and the mind working together. The will and desire as well. The desire is felt in the heart, but the will comes from our mind. The action form, the second step. No, there are certain steps to reaching any type of knowledge. It is not to say, to not give a very fast. To say this is like this because this is like that. If your thought form is just one or two, it is very low. You have to work on that. One has to develop and say, well, how can I develop myself? No, how? And many people think, well, if I read specialty books on that, but it's not. It's just information. You have to do the inner work. You have to go and work with the powers that you want to believe in, or have the force to contact, or have the meaning beyond that richness that one can reach. But on what, there is a question of the what, of course. You see, we are talking about highly intelligent beings. It's not like I just arrived here and even then, Asmodeus says, well, if it comes from a pure heart, you are really open to learn and to transform your life the way it should be, that you integrated will and desire, the elements of the master. There's a third key that comes. One is rewarded, one is given to. But it has to be honored, it has to be worked upon, it has to be earned in one way or another. There's the element of the value, that works very well, the will and desire. One has to think for himself or herself. One has to develop a certain type of knowledge that one can be a master in it. It is not enough for me to read and just regurgitate what I have read, the way we were taught in school, which of course is part of the training the memory, which is fine in the school. But later, as an adult, one has to develop their own beliefs, their own experiences. There is the element of my own, me. It's very much Asmodeus' work as well, that part of us that we renegade, that part of us that we don't want to let it shine, or for whatever reason we feel the minus, we feel that element, and that power of Asmodeus, that darkness, that clay of time, that obsidian, that all the beautiful richness, depth, appearance and expression of Asmodeus, there's a lot that comes with him, creates that power in us for us to just turn a little bit and discover something. There is the element of the key, there is the element of discovery, there is the element of something more beautiful, something more close to my heart, or something more intense. It has a certain type of beauty that I'm searching on. There is nuances. Asmodeus wants to say the way I am is my choice to be who I am. There's a connection from me, from my will and desire, the way I create myself, the way I represent myself. There is no pressure in being anything else than you. There is no need of you in that way, but the enjoyment of my own self, that's the true master. That's one key, to say one has to find a solution by turning the question upside down. That's the thinking of Asmodeus, that way he works, he reveals things. It needs a little key in your brain, in your mind as well, to figure it out. It's not like, Asmodeus gives you 3 little keyholes and you say, pick a key and you open, you say number 2, You will say, great, we open number 2, there is nothing in. You say, I choose another one, you will choose number 1, and there too is nothing in, and maybe in the third there is something. To say, there is element of choice, of more, and the way we work with the will and desire to create the things that we want, But to say this is more interpretation of Asmodeus, because to say the literary work, which is my book, is the true beauty of Asmodeus. It is my pride work, So now it's just an idea or a representation of that book. One has to understand there are different nuances and qualities to things, or the same things in different ways. There are more ways than just one. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to check out the playlist I have made for Asmodeus, where I talk about him and the books, you can check the description box. There you have the link. And if you want to buy or read, have for yourself the Grimoire of Asmodeus. All my books are published on Amazon. You can find in my description box a link to the book as well, and to the other grimoires as well. You have to check my author page on Amazon, or you can have that in my profile as well. And until next time, all the best. Bye.